tasty, I hope, recipe. I love taking my favorite comfort meals and making healthy vegan versions. I like doing that affordably and with simple ingredients. This recipe has a few ingredients, but it's still pretty simple. And you may have seen it all over your Instagram feed or your TikTok feed or even on your YouTube feed. That's a hot honey beef bowl. Now, we're not using any beef here, so don't worry, and we're not using any honey either. But I just thought it looked so good, so I thought I would try to make a healthy vegan version that everybody can love, right? So if you like this kind of content, please stick around and watch the video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I appreciate everyone watching so much. So let me show you the ingredients that I'm starting with. First of all, I have this giant, size of my head, sweet potato. An organic one. How beautiful is that? Nice. I have some mushrooms that will be our meat. You could also do this with like a Beyond or Impossible crumble, but I'm going to stick to mostly whole foods here. So I have my mushrooms and my walnuts and some crumbled pea protein. Those are what are going to make up our meat for this dish. I have a little bit of tomato paste, I have my spices, and instead of honey here I have a mix of agave nectar and date syrup. Super delicious. And I have all of my spices. And this is what I'm going to get started with first, is just getting the hot honey put together and marinating for a little while we do everything else. So for spices, I have some cumin, some crushed red pepper, I have some hot Mexican chili powder, I have some of this super hot dill pepper powder that I dehydrated out of last year's garden peppers. It's very hot. You probably won't have this. In its place, I would recommend Cayenne if you want to keep it super hot, or some paprika if you want it to be a little bit more mild. And I have some salt. And I'm just going to put those straight into my agave and date syrup mixture. Give those a little stir and let those hang out for a little while we get on to tackling this guy so he can be roasted. And I have just given my potato a good scrub down and cut off just a few dark spots of the peel. You know, the peel in the potatoes, regular potatoes and sweet potatoes, have so much good nutrition in them. I like to leave the skin on whenever possible. If you do peel it though, don't throw those peels away. Don't do that. Save the peels, pop them in the air fryer with a little bit of salt. You could use a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil spray if you like, but pop them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes and they make really tasty, crispy chips. Trust me, they're really good. So I'm just going to, if I have enough muscle here, I'm going to cube this guy up, get him on a sheet pan, get it on a sheet pan and put it in the oven with a little bit of salt and black pepper and let it roast for probably about 25 to 30 minutes. You know, one of the reasons why this recipe intrigued me so much is because I am a big fan of sweet and spicy. Sweet, spicy, and salty sounded so good to me, so I really had to try this one. And I'm a big fan of sweet potatoes too. Sweet potatoes are so full of nutrition and good stuff for us, but I'm not a big fan of this particular sweet potato. He's given me a really hard time trying to get him chopped up evenly. I guess I need to work on my knife skills anyway, so I'm going to try to get him into 1-inch cubes and get him on the pan. And I think I managed to get him pretty evenly chopped up. So I just have my pan lined with a little bit of parchment paper And I'm not going to use any oil to roast my sweet potatoes. If you like, if you use oil, you could use a little bit of avocado oil or some olive oil. I just don't think it's necessary here. So I'm just going to spread them out evenly, sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, and pop them in the oven. It's preheated to 425, and these should take probably about 20 to 25 minutes. Good sprinkle of just some pink sea salt. So while my potatoes are roasting, I'm going to prepare my walnut mushroom meat, and I'm going to start by just rehydrating my pea protein crumble. And if you haven't tried this product, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It has a very neutral flavor. It takes on the flavor of whatever spice or sauce that you put on it. It has a really nice texture, and I don't know, I just like it. It's also really easy to digest. If you have a problem with regular TVP and if you avoid soy, I recommend this as a replacement. It's really easy to digest, and I don't know, I like it. I'm a fan of it. I'll link it below if you're interested. So next I'm just going to chop up my walnuts. Just give them like a rough chop. This will just be a little added extra texture in there, and I'm going to soak these two in a little bit of water. And my mushrooms I'm just going to chop up pretty finely as well, about the same size as the chunks of walnut. And if you would like to try this recipe as a raw recipe, this is what I would recommend. Just chop and soak your walnuts and your mushrooms. You can maybe dehydrate your mushrooms for a couple of hours after that, and just add them with the agave and spices to the mushroom walnut meat, because the raw mushroom walnut meat is also extremely tasty. It's extremely tasty. So I'll link, or I'll write out the description of how to do that in the description box. I've used it in other videos. It's very nutrient dense and full of healthy fats and very filling. It makes a good taco filling. You can also form them into little balls and have meatballs. Very good as a raw option as well. So let me know in the comments what your favorite like meat replacement, like taco filling, burger filling, meatball type of combo is. I would be interested to know, because the walnut mushroom is about my favorite one, and it's so versatile. So I'd be interested to know what you like to use. And how many of you are fans of Impossible or Beyond, or if you have another brand that you like to use, maybe Gardein, and I think Morningstar is another one. When I first went vegan several years ago, there weren't all those options like that that were out there to try. So I think Light Life, and maybe what else was out there? Morningstar Farms also had like some veggie burgers, and Dr. Prager's. Now, I still think Dr. Prager's veggie burgers are great. So I'm just going to add my walnuts to the water and let those soak. Oh, this is going to be good. I can already tell because I tasted the honey, and oh my goodness, I could drink that. That is so good. All right, and I'm just going to chop up my mushrooms again about the same size as the walnuts. You could certainly just get your food processor out and chop these up together, but I just didn't feel like doing a lot of dishes today and really didn't feel like getting out the food processor to have to clean it, just for chopping up a few things that will only take me about less than 5 minutes. So, but feel free to put it in the food processor if you'd like, or maybe you have one of those fancy little chopper things. You can just chop everything up real quick. And these mushrooms are beautiful and fresh. Mr. Tony went to the store for me today and picked these out, which was so nice of him. And he said he will try this recipe. So we'll let him try it and see what he thinks. He'll try my vegan food. You know, I've probably said before, if you watch my other videos, he's not vegan, but I try to get him to eat as many plants as we can possibly get him to eat, and he does a really fantastic job. He's also, I don't know how much he wants me to talk about him, but he's had a little bit of some health struggles, and he's diabetic and has gone through kidney cancer, and he's doing really well, and he does better and better the more plants I can encourage him to eat. So, you know, anytime I can get him to say, yeah, I'll try that, I think that's a win. All right, that looks really good to me. I'm just going to set these all aside and check on my sweet potatoes, and they have about another probably 20 minutes. This only took like 5 minutes to chop up. So while they finish cooking, I'm going to throw some wild rice on the stove top to cook to have with this meal tonight. Now let's make our delicious veggie crumble. And what I'm going to start with is our mushrooms. I'm adding them to a hot, dry pan. I'm using my trusty iron skillet here because I love it. I cook almost everything in it. And if you didn't know, when you cook in an iron skillet, it does impart some iron into your food. So that's one of the reasons that I really like to use it. And I want to start with my mushrooms first in the hot pan and get them going so that they can release some of their moisture. So we're looking for them to, like, you know, reduce in size by probably about a third. So you can see they've given up most of their water because they're starting to stick a little bit to the pan. So this is a good time to add our tomato paste. And I just have here 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Add this in first and let it cook down a little bit and let it go from a bright red to a dark red. And that's when you know it's ready, and it's going to give some of that nice umami richness to our crumble. And I'm going to try not to make too big of a mess over here. A little bit of a mess is okay, it's expected, but we don't want to clean up a huge mess, so we'll try to be careful. And next I'm going to add in about half of a teaspoonful of Better Than Bouillon veggie paste. You can use whatever veggie paste you like, or just a little bit of vegetable stock if you have it. And I'm going to add in my pea crumble, which I have drained from the water. Oh, this smells so good already. And I'm going to add in my walnuts, which I have also drained. Make sure I get all of that goodness out of there. And I have just a little bit of water over here to add in case I need it, just in case anything starts to stick. But I think there's enough moisture in the walnuts that it will deglaze the pan of all of that yummy tomato paste and veggie stock. And this is perfect, just as is right here. You could add maybe a little salt and pepper and have a perfect meatball or veggie burger mix, like I said, or taco mix. And that's kind of how we're going to flavor it today for our hot honey bowl. It's kind of like a taco crumble. So the spices I'm adding in are salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, and a little bit of chili powder. You could also just use a pre-made packet of taco seasoning. I'm not a big fan of the pre-made packets only because sometimes they have added ingredients, and even if they don't, I like to be able to control the amount of salt and spice that go into mine. So I like to just kind of throw in the spices like that. And you can make a bulk like jar of that and have it on hand if you eat a lot of like taco flavored things and burritos and things like that, like we do. We eat a lot. So I'm just going to add, that was about a 1/4 cup of water, just to get that going a little bit and get those spices enough moisture so that they can really mix well into everything. And really that's all you have to do. As soon as everything is mixed, you can just turn this on low or even turn it off, keep it warm, however you like to do. It's ready to go at this point. There's really no more cooking required. And if you were doing it raw, all you would need to do is mix your mushrooms, your walnuts, and your spices together. And you can make a raw tomato paste out of sun-dried tomatoes, if you didn't know. It's delicious. My sweet potatoes are ready. I think my wild rice is about ready. So I'm going to chop up a little cilantro, and I think half of an avocado. Sounds really amazing. And I also earlier toasted some quinoa. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Very easy. You just toast some quinoa in a dry pan and it kind of pops like popcorn. It's a delicious topping for salads, and I think I'll have a little bit on top of here just for texture. So everything's ready, and including filming, just to let you know a timeline kind of, this took less than an hour for me to do, including filming. So I think this could even be a really good weeknight recipe, because if you weren't starting and stopping and moving things around and all of that that you have to do when you actually film something, then you could probably have this on the dinner table in about 35 to 40 minutes, which is good for a weeknight. Or you could do like I did and prep like double, because I want to have leftovers of this for lunch, I'm pretty sure. Sounds amazing. So let's get started assembling. I'm just going to, and I just wash my hands, don't worry. I'm going to throw in some of my sweet potatoes here. And who cares, right? I'm eating it. It's just me. Just me eating it. Maybe Mr. Tony will have a bite, but honestly, I don't think he really cares at all if my hands are clean or dirty. Okay, and I'm going to put in a little bit of my wild rice. Oh, this is my kind of meal. Everything in a bowl, everything tasty and delicious, and a good chunk of my crumble mixture. So let's top it with some of our absolutely divine agave mixture here. When I say this is good enough to drink, Rock even agrees with me. It is good enough to drink. It is so good. Oh, this would be good on so many, many things. Just tasting this, I can kind of see what the craze is now about hot honey. So I'm going to drizzle this all over everything, a couple tablespoons. I'm going to top this with a little bit of my cilantro, because I feel like this bowl, it just needs a little bit of color, you know, just a little bit. It's all kind of brown and orange. Perfect for fall, but it's the middle of summer right now. We want something bright and fresh on there too, right? And I'm going to top this with a little bit of my avocado. Oh, The avocado is perfect. And how beautiful does that look? That looks so good. I cannot wait to try this. Try to get a little bit of everything in there. A little sweet potato, a little avocado, some rice and some crumble. That's a big bite, y'all. That's a big bite. Oh man. This is good. I hope you will try this recipe. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like. And you stayed for the video. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Comment down below where you'll find the links to stuff I used and a recipe for this version and a raw version. I appreciate you guys watching so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Always use this
I was using that powder.
Are you cheaping out on the avocado?